Hey everybody, Norm over here, and I have one of my closest buddies. This is Peter Margolis, and Peter, for years, comes from a TV family. His uncle, Monty Hall.
Host of Let's Make a Deal.
Let's Make a Deal.
Creator of Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah. He's worked on so many shows, a lot of game shows, and you were also associate director of The Voice, too.
Yes, currently. I've been on it since season 15, and we just wrapped season 27 on Tuesday.
And his wife, Lucinda, is also involved in the business, too.
Lucinda is one of the two directors of Jeopardy, and she's the technical director of Wheel of Fortune.
All right. So this is
standing
TV.
right there.
Yeah, right there. We're going to bring her in a minute with Kaylee, who's like, these guys are like models for the new T-shirts for this book. This book is called Collecting Loud History.
It is.
And this is ultimate Marshall book. Peter has to have his head examined for doing a book like this. If nothing else, the photographs are incredible all the way through. Peter's very meticulous, let's say. There's other words, but
Norm likes to call me anal retentive.
Yeah,
but meticulous is nicer.
But everything is just so in here. The pictures, details. If you want to know about, and these were amps that are amps
they're mine
in his collection.
Yeah,
and so he's eccentric, but he's a good buddy. And this book, you got to be nuts to want to do a book. And if you don't like the book, you can use it as a weight. The thing weighs about 7 pounds.
Exactly.
But there's no way, if you like Marshall amps, you're going to love this book. And just tell us a little bit how long it took you to do.
I probably started at 14 when I bought my first one. And 1 became 2, and 2 became 4, and so on and so on and so on.
Like rabbits.
I started making a little bit of money, and I didn't know how to invest, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I loved these things, so I just started buying them and, squirrel holing them away and putting them in closets and in storage units, thinking one day these things, might be worth something. And along the way, I started to learn a lot about them and learn which ones to buy and which ones not to buy and what were good deals. And when you have this much and you have your hands in it all the time, you start to see patterns and see development changes. And so that was the crux of the book, was to I have basically amps from every year, starting in 64, going all the way up, into the 80s, and to show the changes from year to year and the color changes and the design changes, and so people can look at this book and realize what they have. I would go on the internet or Craigslist or Reverb or eBay, and I would see ads for Marshalls, and it would say Plexi or it would say Basket Weave, and I would look at it and I think,
what does that mean?
Well, no, it's not, and you don't know what you have. But so it was to help people learn about what they have, and it was also a way for me to document the collection. And lastly, none of us are going to be here forever. And there's a lot of information in this book that's just, it's never been published anything. Like, there's a whole section in the back of the book on parts, and it explains things like all the different style logos and, the different switches and the different finish washers and the different T-nuts and rivets. And so there's never been anything like this where you can identify parts.
Right.
And sort of figure out what you have, and then it talks about every year and what went on in the world and what went on in Marshall, and then it shows examples of the years.
Did our buddy Brian Ranks, did he help you at all with this? Because I know he was informational for so many
Brian
years.
is my writing partner. Without Brian, this book wouldn't exist, because I knew some things about Marshalls. Meeting him changed everything, changed the game for me. He is savant-like when it comes to information, when it comes to thread count and the screws, and when it comes to what part is for every single amp. And I would have had, first of all, I'd have a very different collection if it wasn't for him, because he's found me a lot of stuff. he's a genius, and he and I co-wrote this.
And he was the road manager for so many bands, REO, Speedwagon. I mean, who else?
Primarily guitar tech, mostly. He's actually out now with sort of what became of REO, I guess the Kevin Cronin band. But, you know, he has been with Bon Jovi, with Michael Bolton, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo forever. He spent 40 years on the road, you know, as a guitar tech and an amp tech, and, you know, he's really well versed in those trades.
Great guy and very, very knowledgeable.
Right.
And been a friend of mine for many years. Can we bring the models in here 1 second?
So, first of all, this is Kaylee. Kaylee is part of the team. She is the web designer. And
Excellent web
Kaylee
designer.
created the design of our shirt, and Kaylee has helped us. She came on about a year ago and got us to the finish line. So when we began, it was Brian and I for years and years and years, and then we realized we needed a photographer. So we hired a photographer who spent 17 days at the house ripping apart every room, filling it with Marshalls. And then we needed, after a photographer, we needed a printer. And then once we found a printer, we needed a web designer. And then, am I missing anybody? Is that the team?
Albert.
Oh, yeah, well, Albert's a photographer. There's 6 of us. And this is my wife, Lucinda, who has been instrumental in, first of all, allowing all of this to take place at our house.
And putting up with you,
And
too,
feeding
for
them.
many
And,
years.
yes, and putting up with, you know, Marshalls in every bedroom, floor to
yeah.
ceiling, and in the closets and all over the place. So it's been quite a journey. We started in 2019. This book literally was delivered to us a week ago.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
You don't do this to make money. You do this for
no.
love.
Absolutely.
Because it's a good way to spend a lot of money to make very little money.
We're
But, you know,
way in the hole. And these
So you
books,
can pull them out of the hole by buying this book.
For right now, we started to sell the first couple hundred at $150, which was below break even. $175 is about break even for us because these were printed right here in Los Angeles. We didn't send it to China. We didn't send it anywhere. You know,
No, with the tariffs, I mean, you're probably saving money. Yeah.
We would have got
Yeah.
killed with the tariffs, but
Yeah.
we wanted to have control over it. So we used a printer, Clear Image Printing, they're local. We used the absolute best paper they had and the best binding and the best cover, and we just wanted to make something that was, you know, really, really nice.
Well,
and
you did.
I'm thrilled with it.
It's way over the top, but it's for the real heavy-duty enthusiasts who really are into it. And if you really just want to know all those little details, which, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there that's floating around that's maybe not right. So if you want to find out, this is a good way to.
Yeah,
find
and
out.
you know, the photography is stunning. You know, Albert did an incredible job, and it's just, you know, it's beautiful.
Denny's layouts are great.
Yeah. Oh, Denny, our book designer, who I forgot to
Amazing.
mention,
A
amazing.
genius.
Amazing.
So, you know, I'm really proud of it, and here it is.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for Peter to come in. Now, I do want to just say one thing. Peter's brother, who is a very good friend of mine, just recently passed away. And Jeff
yesterday.
Margolis. Great guy. He directed the American Music Awards, the
Academy Awards.
Academy Awards,
SAG Awards.
and received awards for doing those award shows for many years.
Yes.
He was another TV guy extraordinaire. And I love Jeff. He was a great guy. And unfortunately, these days, every time I put on my phone or look in the newspaper, we lose one. But he was something else, and he was like, you know, as high up as it gets when
Yeah.
it comes to TV in Los Angeles for many years.
Yeah, he was beloved. And if it wasn't for him, you know, my first job through, you know, I don't know, for years, he was hiring me until I, you know, sort of could make it on my own. And I still did all his shows and, you know, and other shows. But he was a master of his craft. And he was, you know, I think yesterday I got 250 texts from people all over the world just, you know, letting me know how it affected them. And yeah, it's quite a loss for our family and, you know, for his immediate family.
A lot of good
and
friends, and
yeah,
he was responsible for all kinds of great stuff. So rest in peace, Jeff.
Thank you.
I mean, he was a real good buddy, and another one down.
thank you.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please support this, because this is something, if you're into Marshalls, it's a must-have. And how do you get this?
So this book called Collecting Loud History is available at collectingloudhistory.com. It's the only place you can get it. You cannot buy it on Amazon. You cannot get it anywhere else. And this is the only way for us to control this, because we looked into other avenues and brick and mortar stores, and you lose so much when you sell it that way. And because we're at break even selling these, we can't, you know, give them to Amazon.
Maybe by the second or third or fifth
If
printing.
the second or third printing, where
God
we can God willing, right, we can get the price down a little bit, then we can start to do that. But you know, the cost to print for us to print one of these books was over $100 with just the printing.
And then you got to market it, and you got to sell it.
And the, you know, just the packing material, and we're doing all of that, and we're putting them in boxes and putting the peanuts in and putting the foam in and taking them to the post office, and it's a lot of work, but you know, I have unbelievable people with me. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy it.
Collecting Loud History. Rest in peace, Jeff Margolis. We love you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very good.
That was awesome.